Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this short and sweet as not much has happened. We're still within the overall short-term structure. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick overview of what's going on today. So as we can see, we're having a nice rebound day compared to yesterday's sell-off off of the inflation woes in the stock market. Today we're having a nice little bounce, and it's within this general support region, right? 30,000 to 28,900. So nothing's changed, right? So even with yesterday's scare, which caused a lot of retail to either go short or sell in a loss, or even open up shorts, or even close their longs that were probably going to make the money. Today is just showing that, hey, nothing structurally in the short term has changed. And actually, it's just showing more evidence that we're probably in a descending wedge, which is bullish. So I just want to make this pretty clear. See, this trend line here, this small trend line here, let's go down to the 4 hour. This indicated a very immature trend, descending wedge pattern possibly forming. Okay, so you take from this high pivot here, from this drop, and then you go from this pivot here, which kisses this pivot and then breaks out here. And you want to use these horizontal lines, our support lines, 30,000 and then 28,900, as the bottom part of this wedge. But then you look at, well, what about this pivot down here? Exactly. That's why it's immature. Okay, that's why it's immature. It was much more likely that when Bitcoin got to this level here from this drop, that we would have a move down. Okay, a move down to solidify this level as the potential bottom for the descending wedge, if that's what we were forming, right? At 26,500, let's say. That's what I was looking to see. And that would have made me much more confident, probability-wise, that okay, we are likely going into a consolidation that would last a couple of weeks, and that we would likely have a breakout to the upside. Okay. However, we had the breakout here, then we descended down to test the top of the wedge here, which it's held. Had another attempt to break out past 30,000, somewhat faltered here, came back under, and again is holding this top of the descending wedge as support, as well as the 28,900 level as support, and then as well as this general support zone between these two levels is being held as support. But take a look at the daily. Okay, now take a look at the daily. What I'm saying is we may actually see some downside as well. Okay, so let's go from here to here. So we can draw from the same pivot point here to now here, which it's a little bit more defined. Again, very immature. This top pivot here at 31,500 is a little bit more defined because we've had more candles print, but it's still immature. But now let's pull the trend line from there, going to the potential bottom of this wedge, if it is one. And now it looks a little bit better. Okay, now it looks like we may have more of a clear pattern that may follow this trend line as support as it continues to get denied off the top here. So does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense? Do you see how some of these trend lines kind of are interoperable with each other, how they function between each other? So we may see continuation down back here. Okay, back to 28,900, another rise to 30,000, continual oscillation, and either eventual breakout here, another fall here to test this level, this zone as support, which would hopefully lead to a bullish reaction to the upside, which would then probably get us enough fuel to break through. Or we could also be seeing possibly a bullish flag pattern, a really, really small bullish flag forming here off the 4 hour to break up higher. And the reason why I'm saying these three scenarios are very likely is because if this is a descending wedge, the probabilities of a breakout are much, much higher than a continuation down. Again, it's all probabilities, no guarantees. Of course, it can go lower. We have our levels to add on if it goes lower, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. And I trade on what's most likely to happen. That's how I find to be the most consistently profitable trader you can be. Okay, and then doing smart DCA, cost averaging positions to add on to your position even makes you more profitable in the long run, more secure in the long run. At least that's the way I found it to work for myself, and almost everyone else I've shown that strategy to. Okay, so we're likely going to see upside, but now we're going to see, is it going to be within this week to the weekend? Is it going to be within next week, or is it going to be within the sometime early June? Okay, so we have to give this time to mature out. But at this time, I'm leaning more towards a descending wedge pattern possibly forming here, and maybe even a bullish flag forming here. Either way, the targets are the same. Okay, the target is towards 33,000, and then eventually this blue line, that could be anywhere from 34 to 35,000. For me, it's 34,000. Depends on how quickly it rises to this blue line, if it should. And if this blue line is taken, so let's say we start another bullish consolidation here, and we have a breakout, then look for the orange line, which is going to be about 40,000 to 38,000. Then look for, in my opinion, great spots to look to open shorts, right? To start that short position, because it's very likely once we get to this level that we're going to find exhaustion and break down again. All right, and getting to this orange line does not break the larger structure, the larger trend structure. It actually strengthens it if it gets denied here, because we have this macro pattern that broke, then we had the retest, and then it failed and comes back lower, which means we are very likely to continue that larger trend down towards the mid 20,000 and maybe even lower. Okay, so this is the way I think about when I trade. I just look at every roadmap I can possibly fathom, and then I rate it probability wise and see which path to side on. All right, this is the way I do it. I'm not going to always be right, but I am right most of the time. All right, so if you're in this trade with me, keep your eye out for a breakage of this line here. All right, so pretty much watch out for a break towards 31,000 and holding above 31,000 for a day or so. And if that happens, then it's very likely we have a move towards 33,000. Okay, so keep your eye on that. And remember, if you want to learn how to do this, please, look into the tutorings. They are very, very good. I make things very simple, and I can turn things around for you if you're having trouble trading pretty quickly. Okay, there are certain quick fixes that can really affect your trading very fast. Of course, the more technical you get, the more time it takes to really iron out a real ironclad strategy that's repeatable. But there are certain things in regards to trading, certain rules that people just don't seem to have a grasp on, certain truths about trading that people don't have grasps on, that I have and can impare to people, that it's extremely beneficial. Okay, it's been beneficial to me, and there are a few others in this group who have found it beneficial. So if you are interested, please contact me, or at least talk about it with the group. All right, so let's look at AVAX real quick. Go to the daily. Okay, excuse me. So again, AVAX finding that resistance off of this descending trend line as expected. As I've said in the last video and a couple of videos, this descending trend line will be a major level to watch. If Bitcoin can find that impulse to get towards 33K, you'll likely see this line break and AVAX make a move towards $42 to $40, somewhere around here, and eventually probably make it to $50 over the a week or two, depending if Bitcoin can get towards that blue line and start breaking it. All right, so again, this is going to be the same story with a lot of these altcoins. They're all developing. They're all developing this structure, this potential structure. And again, what are we seeing with AVAX? Something extremely similar to Bitcoin. Possibly a downward wedge is forming. So let's do this trend line here, and we'll do one right here as well, because you can maybe consider this also as another support right here. Okay, and then let's pull this trend line down. So what do we see? We're potentially seeing a descending wedge forming. Again, it's all what may be. It's not what is. We're just mapping out what may be and what's most likely. And going off of Bitcoin structure, this is most likely right now. All right. So, watch to see. Are we going to find supports at these two levels at $26 and then $22 to $23? And are we going to show price action that indicates that we will likely have a breakout to get to these higher levels at 40 to maybe $50? All right, let's go to Ethereum. And Ethereum, again, Ethereum's interesting. It's consolidating pretty heavily. And I like its consolidation quite a bit, actually. I actually see Ethereum going far more sideways than down at this point. So if it closes like this, I would not be surprised if we get another daily candle that pretty much, hits the top of this engulfing candle here. So towards, 2090 or so, and just watch this bad boy go sideways for a long time. Again, as long as Bitcoin remains consolidating where it is. If Bitcoin starts breaking down or breaking up, Ethereum will, of course, follow. All right. But even if it does this, where does it veer to? To the downside. So, okay, it's still descending, and it's still descending on support. And in my opinion, a bullish price, bullish activity. That's bullish activity, in my opinion. Okay. So again, we're watching. That's all we can do. And with all our long positions, we're either slightly in the red with Bitcoin, but with the altcoins, we're oscillating between being in the green, being flat, and being in the red. We're pretty much right where we got in for most of these coins. And then Solana's finding clear resistance off of this descending trend line, which for some reason again will not stay thick, even though I made it so like the last two videos. But this descending trend line, as we can see, Solana is finding that resistance, and again we are possibly observing a larger wedge pattern forming. Okay, so you see how these trend lines work out together. It's great. It's so cool to see the confluence on how this stuff works out. And then you want to watch and give price action time to see if those puzzle pieces start fitting together. All right, super cool, super cool to see. So again, we're going to see, is Solana going to come veering down? And if so, and it holds this level at $38.10, I'm telling you, you want to have that bias to the upside. Okay, doesn't mean will happen, but it's most likely to happen. If you always err on the side of what's most probable, in the long run, you will make money. All right. Link to me looks good for more downside. Okay, it does look good for more downside, in my opinion. I actually do think Link can come down towards about $6 to $5.80 around this level, and that's when I'd be looking to see, okay, is it going to start mirroring Bitcoin and Ethereum? Is it going to start showing signs of possibly a descending wedge? Okay, again, this needs more time. It may not. Some of these altcoins may not. Some of them may just stop where they're at and go sideways and wait for Bitcoin to show the way. Definitely possible, but out of all the positions we're in, Link does have the least bullish price action of them. Okay, but again, not to be too worried, as relatively it probably will not go against Bitcoin in a directional move. All right, that's very unlikely. It happens, but it's very unlikely. So if Bitcoin goes up, Link will go up. If Bitcoin goes down, Link will go down. And if Link does go down because Bitcoin goes down, we have our levels. $5 will be massive. Okay, $5 will be massive, and it will take a lot of selling for this level to break. Eventually, it may break, but this will be a great place to add on to the long. All right. So every position we're in, we have the levels mapped out to where we will add on. We also have the levels where we're looking to take our profits. Okay. All right. And Cardano is also an interesting one. Very steep drop. Found pretty nice support on this descending trend line, and since it's bounced, and again, I can see Cardano also coming down, somewhat similar to Link, but just its selling was far more vicious, so it may have a much higher probability of going sideways for a little longer. Again, we'll follow Bitcoin. Cardano has lost a lot of love in regards to holders, so its percentage of dominance is far lower than what it's been in the past. So it's going to follow Bitcoin even more than it has in the past, which it always has, really. So, just watch this to probably break up higher. If it breaks up higher, it'll have a nice break towards 75 cents, in my opinion. I think Cardano has a really a good amount of upside just based off of how much it's dropped here. I do see this level generally being targeted right here. So this level at 70, we'll just round it up to 75 cents and maybe even 78 cents here. Okay, let's round it up to about 80 cents. So we'll say this general zone here. So we can watch and see if this level will get hit. I probably will target 75, 74 cents, unless I see a lot of bearish price action on Bitcoin in the short term as it breaks through. So maybe 60 cents. Just, it really does depend. It really does depend. When you're in a overall bearish structure, so let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. We see that, Bitcoin's bearish. Okay, so its structure is bearish. Nothing's changed. All right, this is bearish structure, which is what we've been saying for months. Right, as we were trading within here, what have I always said? This will break down, and we're likely going to break down to the mid 20s, which we technically did. And in my opinion, we'll probably break even lower. All right, but this structure is bearish, and nothing's changed with that. So when you're in this sort of environment, when you go against that overall macro picture, you don't want to get too greedy. Okay, you don't want to get too greedy. You want to make sure you take your money when it's offered, and say thank you very much, and then look for the next opportunity. And at least that's what I do, and it's served me well. So we'll make sure to take our money when we can. That's one of the reasons why we took our money off of Matic and Dot when they gave us a great move, right? So again, and with Bitcoin, I do want to go over before I close out the video, what I'm thinking about doing profit-wise. I'm thinking of doing partial closes. So if we get to 33,000, I'm leaning towards closing a percentage of the position. Could be 10, could be 20% of the position. Then at 34K, another 10 or 20%. And if we start breaking past the blue line, I'll be looking for minor levels on short term, on the short term. So probably around 35,500, close another percentage, and then wait and see with that final 20% of the position if we can get to 40K and close out the rest there. Because once we get towards the orange line, I'll be looking to possibly opening up short or starting a short position. Okay, and I'll definitely keep my eye on for all coins that are way overextended as well. All right, so that's my thinking right now. Again, what have I always said? When retail is bearish, then you don't want to immediately go bullish. You want to start slowly, calmly transitioning bullish, and vice versa. When they go bullish, you want to slowly start transitioning bearish. That's the way you do it. Okay, that's the way you do it. And what are we watching here? If you watch retail, you watch what they're saying on social medias, you watch their videos and such, see their charts that they post. A lot of them are overly bearish, overly cautious, and they will not, for whatever reason, think of accumulating here and targeting major resistances ahead of them. Okay, so transition slowly bullish, as we've been doing, as we've been dropping. That's what the smart money does. And then as we raise higher and they get bullish late, then we hand them our orders, because we're going to flip short on them. And that's what we've been doing, right? That's what we've been doing ever since I started this service. We've just been doing that, rinse and repeat, and it hasn't not worked yet. So we're going to keep it going. All right. Okay, so I think that's all I want to go over today. I'm not going to go over any other coins. I just wanted to focus on our positions that we're in, and really iron out exactly what I'm seeing and what I potentially see happening as well. Okay, so everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys. Take care.